It was a warm, sunny afternoon, the kind where everything seems peaceful and ordinary. My daughter, a bright and cheerful 7-year-old with a disability, was outside in our backyard, playing near the pool. She loved the water, and even though she had limited mobility, her joy when splashing around was infectious. I was inside, preparing snacks, glancing occasionally through the sliding glass door, feeling the warmth of the sun and the comfort of our safe home. Our neighborhood had always seemed quiet. We had friendly neighbors, or so we thought. But one neighbor, a woman notorious for her hostility, had always given us a strange vibe. She prided herself on controlling the community and often scolded others for minor things. I had tried to avoid confrontation, keeping my family out of her path. Yet that day, her shadow lurked near our property line. My daughter's laughter suddenly shifted to a panicked shout. I froze, my heart skipping a beat. The backyard, once a sanctuary, became a scene of terror. I ran to the sliding door and saw her struggling near the pool's edge, her small arms flailing. She had accidentally slipped, but before I could react, our hostile neighbor appeared. Instead of helping, she leaned over the pool, blocking my daughter from climbing out. Her smirk was chilling, the kind of expression that belongs only in nightmares. I screamed for her to get back, but she seemed intoxicated with control, delighting in my daughter's fear. My daughter tried to hold on to the edge, but her disability made it almost impossible to lift herself fully. Water splashed around as she gasped and cried, the sound piercing through my chest. I lunged forward, but the woman's shadow was between us. Time slowed. I could see the cruel amusement in her eyes as she watched my child struggle, mocking her distress. Neighbors passing by noticed the commotion. Some froze, unsure whether to intervene. I shouted their names, pleading for help, my voice trembling. My daughter's little hands scrabbled for support, and every second felt like an eternity. Fear gripped me like a vice. I had never felt so helpless in my life. I wanted to dive in and save her, but the neighbor was physically imposing, and my daughter was trapped between water and danger. That moment, brief yet infinite, changed everything. The realization hit me. This wasn't an accident. This was intentional. The woman's laughter echoed in my ears, and the world seemed to blur around my daughter's desperate cries. I knew I had to act fast, or the outcome could be catastrophic. Heart racing. I ran to the pool, throwing aside anything that could slow me. My daughter's face was pale, eyes wide with fear, her small body trembling against the water. Her legs kicked weakly, failing to reach the edge. The neighbor laughed again, pointing at her and making cruel, taunting remarks. It was surreal, like watching a horror movie unfold in real life. Can't even get out by yourself? She sneered, voice dripping with venom. What a crybaby. Every word cut like a knife. My daughter's tears streamed down her face, mixing with the pool water. But the neighbor didn't stop. She continued mocking her, using every opportunity to humiliate a vulnerable child. I felt a surge of anger so intense it made my hands shake. I wanted to run past her, grab my daughter, and remove her from this nightmare. But fear of confrontation held me back for a split second, long enough for me to realize I couldn't hesitate. Neighbors who had been standing at a distance now started moving closer, some reaching for phones to call for help. The mockery escalated, the cruel glee in the woman's face impossible to ignore. My daughter's voice trembled as she begged for help, tiny hands scraping at the slick edge. Every movement was a battle against the cold, harsh reality of the water and the hostile figure blocking her escape. I finally lunged forward, grabbing the woman's arm and yelling at her to step back. She resisted, trying to pull away, but I was stronger with sheer adrenaline fueling me. The chaos escalated, water splashing violently around my daughter, making it almost impossible to hold her. She clung to me the moment I reached her, sobbing uncontrollably, the terror still etched into her eyes. I pulled her out, covering her with a towel, trying to calm her shaking body. The neighbor, realizing she had lost control, backed off and muttered insults under her breath. I didn't care about her words. My attention was on my daughter, ensuring she was safe. Neighbors murmured in disbelief at what they had just witnessed. Some offered apologies for not intervening sooner. Others looked at me, asking if we were okay. But in that moment, the only thing that mattered was that my daughter was alive, terrified, and traumatized. Even after she was safe, her cries continued. She kept repeating that the neighbor had laughed at her, that she had tried to escape but couldn't. The innocence of a child, corrupted in a single afternoon, is something that leaves an indelible mark. The experience was not just frightening, it was deeply humiliating for her, something that would echo in her mind for a long time. The day didn't end with the rescue. My daughter's trauma lingered like a shadow, following her every step. She refused to go near the pool, her once joyful laughter replaced by fear and anxiety. Each time I tried to comfort her, she would flinch, imagining the hostile neighbor laughing as she had in the water. It was heartbreaking to witness, knowing that someone's cruelty had permanently affected her sense of safety. We called the police, filing a report about the incident, but the bureaucracy felt cold compared to the raw fear we had experienced. I described every detail: the mocking laughter, the intentional blocking, the panic in my daughter's eyes. Officers listened with concern, taking notes meticulously, promising action, but the trauma couldn't be erased by paperwork. My daughter needed time, care, and reassurance that her home was now a safe space. Therapy sessions began, focusing on rebuilding her confidence and trust. Every step was slow, every progress fragile. She still flinched when water splashed near her, her trust in the world shaken. I realized the true impact of the neighbor's actions. It wasn't just a moment of fear. It was an attack on my daughter's dignity and sense of safety. Meanwhile, the neighborhood became tense. People whispered about the incident, some taking sides, others fearful of the woman's volatility. It was clear that her cruelty wasn't new. It had just escalated to a dangerous level. The community's silence during the incident also weighed heavily on me. Why hadn't anyone stepped in sooner? How could someone watch a child suffer and not act? Despite the horror, there was a silver lining. The incident galvanized our family. We grew stronger, more protective, and determined to ensure such an event could never happen again. My daughter, though shaken, began to show signs of resilience. Every small smile, every hesitant step near the water, was a victory. Slowly, she began to reclaim her childhood, though the memory of that terrifying day remained etched in her mind. The incident also sparked conversations about safety in the neighborhood. Fences were reinforced, pool alarms installed, and neighbors educated about intervening in dangerous situations. While it couldn't undo the trauma, it was a step toward preventing future harm. Weeks passed, but the memory of the incident never faded. The police investigation continued, and eventually, the neighbor faced charges for her reckless and cruel behavior. Though legal action could not erase the fear my daughter experienced, it offered a measure of justice. The court proceedings were tense, a stark reminder that one person's cruelty could have far-reaching consequences. My daughter, now safer and more supported, attended the courtroom with me. She clung to my hand tightly, the anxiety still present, but also a glimmer of courage. Witnessing accountability in action was empowering. The woman was reprimanded, fined, and warned against any further contact. It was a small victory, but a meaningful one, proof that cruelty could be challenged. The experience strengthened our vigilance. Our home became more secure, routines were adjusted to prioritize safety, and trust in neighbors became more selective. Every moment near the pool was now measured, cautious, but we learned to navigate the fear without letting it dominate our lives. My daughter began reclaiming her joy, splashing in shallow water with supervision, learning to trust the fun of childhood again. The incident also reshaped our understanding of human behavior. We realized that cruelty could hide behind ordinary facades, that danger sometimes comes from familiar places, but it also revealed resilience both in my daughter's recovery and in our determination as a family. We learned the importance of standing up, protecting loved ones, and never ignoring warning signs. Over time, my daughter's laughter returned, softer at first, then fuller as confidence rebuilt. Her resilience was inspiring, a testament to the human spirit even in the face of cruelty. The neighbor's actions, though deeply damaging, could not extinguish her joy entirely. The community slowly rallied around us, ensuring safety measures were enforced and that no child would face similar danger again. In the end, the incident left scars, but also lessons. Courage, vigilance, and justice became central to our lives. We understood that evil could appear anywhere, but love, protection, and accountability were stronger. My daughter's journey from fear to healing stands as a reminder. Even in moments of terror, the human spirit tanned, the care of loved ones can triumph.